the December 12th, 2018 meeting of the Westbrook School Committee. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just as a point of order, I am not the chair of the school committee. I'm the superintendent of schools, and one of the first orders of business is for the school committee to recess into executive session to select a new chair. So I have the pleasure of opening this meeting this evening. And I will begin with a roll call. Veronica Bates.
Present.
Stephen Barry.
Present.
Suzanne Joyce.
Here.
Noreen Poitras.
Here.
Mike Popovic.
Present.
Suzanne Salisbury.
Here.
Elizabeth Schultz.
Here.
Student Representative Garcia Beretti.
Present.
Student Representative Chance Gagnon.
Present.
All are present. If I may request a nomination or a motion to recess into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A to discuss appointments and committee assignments. And this will be action item for approval. Do I have a motion? Mm-hmm. Motion by Ms. Bates, seconded by Mrs. Poitras. All in favor? We are in executive session, and that'll be with members of the school committee and the superintendent of schools. Thank you. And we are back in session. If we could have a motion to return from executive session. Moved by Mrs. Poitras, second by Ms. Bates. All in favor of returning from executive session? It's unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item number 6, is the election of the chair of the Westbrook School Committee. May I call for nominations for the chair? Ms. Bates?
I'd like to nominate Sue Joyce.
Second? I'll second that. Mr. Barry? Discussion? Okay, I'll call for a roll call vote. Veronica Bates?
Yes.
Stephen Barry?
Yes.
Suzanne Joyce?
Yes.
Noreen Poitras?
Yes.
Mike Popovic?
Yes.
Suzanne Salisbury?
Yes.
Elizabeth Schultz?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mrs. Joyce.
Thank you. The next order is to elect the vice chair to the school committee. Do I have a motion? Noreen?
I'd like to nominate Mike Popovich.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Steve Berry? Any discussion? All those in favor?
No, we have to do a
Oh, roll call,
Roll call.
sorry. Oops, I'm already learning. Noreen?
Okay, roll call. Veronica Bates?
Oh, okay. You're doing it. Thanks. Yes.
Stephen Barry?
Yes.
Suzanne Joyce?
Yes.
Noreen Poitras?
Yes.
Mike Popovic?
Yes.
Suzanne Salisbury?
Yes.
Elizabeth Schultz?
Yes.
All in favor? Welcome. Congratulations. The next item is you had packet in your packet, you have the minutes for the November meeting. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? We do. Okay, we have an adjustment, 16.13, alternative education teacher in the Westbrook Middle School. 16.10, request to adjust the school calendar for Sac Rapids School and dismiss students at 11:30 on December 20th and December 21st. We're going to take off, is it 16.5, to request to approve the contractual stipends adjustment. And 16, I know I'm trying, 16.11,
To
sorry.
approve the final approval for the Russian exchange.
Oh, okay, final approval for the Russian exchange opportunity field trip in 2019. And the next one is, do we have any correspondence or communication
They're in the packet.
in the packet? And do we have anything from the student council tonight?
Yes, we do.
Thank you, Chance.
Within Westbrook High School, the WHS Civil Rights Team is holding its annual multicultural dinner tonight. Friday, Ann Gass will be coming to the high school as a guest speaker to interested students about the women's suffrage movement along with women's rights. Drama Club Showcase for Clue finished up its weekend-long production this past weekend. Tomorrow night will be the Winter Holiday Concert. Last Saturday was the annual Breakfast Frosty, where a small group of WHS NHS students helped to plan. Today, the first Model UN had its first meeting of the school year, with this being its second year. Students, part of Natural Helpers and the Yellow Tulip Project, created a hope board last week filled with encouraging message for passing students. Winter sports have started with WHS boys and girls basketball teams, starting the season last week with home openers 12-7. Track team begins the season Saturday at 4:30, Costello Sports Complex in Gorham. Swimming will be having a meet this Friday, along with the wrestling will be away Saturday for the Gardner Invitational, and ice hockey game 12-19 against Coney.
In the WRVC, the Rotary House, the building trade students have hung all exterior doors, all windows are installed, and all interior partitions are complete. Electricity students are roughing in all wiring to include the service panel. Tomorrow, WRVC will be hosting their annual holiday meal for all students attending WRVC. They will have two sittings during Tech 1 and one sitting during Tech 2. Mr. Fields, Mr. Peabody, and Miss Barton will be serving the meals. School Services has decorated their giving tree in the WRVC lobby. All decorations have items for families in need, and students/staff take the decorations, purchase the item, and then give the decoration and item to social service students. The items are then distributed to the people in need, so basic items including razors, soap, deodorant. And the school store will be open this Friday evening during the basketball game, so you can get your last-minute WHS attire. That's all.
Thank you. Next up, we have public participation for any of the agenda items. Would anybody like to speak?
Hello, my name's Adam Wolf. I teach here at the high school. I teach physics, engineering, and robotics. I'm here particularly concerning the innovation grants. I recently read an article in the Portland Press Herald about how I believe it was Scarborough and Wyndham both received $2,000 grants to help fund their STEAM and STEM programs at those respective high schools. Last spring, I submitted an innovation grant along with 4 other teachers to help fund a makerspace here at the high school. That was flatly denied. After that, we met with the grant writer. We heard their feedback. We submitted it in this session, and we have received a letter that said it's probably only going to be. They're recommending that it only be partially funded, and I just want to point out that this is the part that they are suggesting that they're going to fund is a field trip to go visit other area schools that already have these similar things, maker spaces and really robust STEAM programs, and that Westbrook is really behind in this area, and that by not funding this, you're just further delaying this innovative innovative science, technology, engineering, math stuff, which is so important to our kids right now. So I hope that you can reconsider and think of a way to find and fund this grant for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Next, we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Lancier?
Thank you, Mrs. Joyce. And congratulations to both you and to Mr. Popovic, and thank you for your service. And welcome to the school committee, Ms. Schultz, and welcome back to the school committee, Ms. Salisbury and Ms. Bates. Thank you for your service to this community, all of you who serve in the school board, as well as our 2 students. And speaking of one of our students, she wasn't at our meeting last month when I was going to recognize this, but Garcia Beretti was selected among some other students in the state of Maine to go to Boston over Thanksgiving to attend the presentation, the book release from Michelle Obama, and it was a great honor for her and for Westbrook. I know you didn't exactly meet her directly, but just to be in the same space with Michelle Obama must have been amazing. So congratulations, and thank you for representing Westbrook and your peers here and all of us here in this community. She was selected through a project through the Telling Room, which is a terrific partnership that we have with a group in Portland that fosters the telling of stories, writing, and the experience that we all have. In the packets and being published tomorrow on the Thursday folders is the monthly Teaching and Learning newsletter. I would call your attention to one of the articles, and I would like to express our deepest sympathy to the family and the friends of one of our teachers who passed away last week. Stephanie Dobbin has taught in Westbrook for 19 years. She fought a very courageous battle with an aggressive form of cancer and passed away on November 30th. She was a Title I teacher at Sacarapa School most recently, and before that taught 3rd grade and Title I, and was the literacy specialist at Canal School previously. A very special person to all of us. A very special teacher to our students, a very special friend. So our thoughts and our prayers are with her husband Scott and her daughter Sophie, who's following in her footsteps. She's becoming an educator herself in a neighboring school district, and also to her many friends. I will say there was a celebration of Stephanie's life held last Friday, and many members of our school community participated in that celebration, spoke, played music, organized the event. One of Steph's friends, who was a mutual friend of both of ours, Stephanie and I attended graduate school together, came up to me and said how touched she was that the Westbrook school community was so involved in not just this tribute, but in Steph's life. So our thoughts are with her and her family during this really difficult time, and to all of us in the schools who knew and loved her very much. I'd like to also point out an article in the newsletter, in my brief column in the newsletter, that recognizes our students who have already been accepted to college, our seniors who have already been accepted. About 58% of our high school seniors have already been accepted at colleges and universities, and over 64% have already applied for colleges. And this is a very tough time of year for our seniors, as many of them await their acceptances, but congratulations to our kids who've already been accepted. And one of our students has actually been provided with a full scholarship to Bowdoin College through the Quest Bridge program. We're very proud of him, and any of us who attended the multicultural dinner this evening, he was our pianist, a brilliant, brilliant musician and scholar, and is headed to Bowdoin with a full scholarship through that program. So congratulations. I'd like to recognize and thank the Cornelia Warren Association. As you know, they have granted us with a fitness center at Westbrook High School, and have granted us in the amount of $35,198 for that fitness center. So we look forward to the completion of that center over the winter, and a grand opening, ribbon cutting next spring, when all of the members of the Cornelia Warren Association are in town, and we're able to celebrate and thank them properly. Also, thank you to the Warren Memorial Foundation, who have contributed $50,000 for scholarships for our graduating seniors who are heading into programs in the arts. They are giving 4 $12,500 scholarships this year, which is a terrific, generous gift from the Warren Foundation. We have 5 musicians from our school district who will be attending the All-State Music Festivals this May at the University of Maine. Congratulations to Jack Scheibels, Maxim LaPlante, Nate Johansson, Katrin Pitt, and Lil, I can't read my own writing, Lil Whitehorn-Reed, who will be participating in that All-State Festival. Congratulations to our students and to their brilliant teachers. Canal School has been selected as a site for the Winter Kids Games this January. It's a terrific opportunity for physical activity and nutrition. It's a challenge against other elementary schools in the area, and 2 schools in Cumberland County were chosen, Canal School, as well as one of the elementary schools in Gray. We look forward to that winter carnival atmosphere that the faculty and the principal at Canal School are busy organizing. I know Ms. Hebert's very excited about it, a little bit nervous about it, but very excited about it. Be a terrific opportunity for our kids, so look forward to that. Also, this year at Canal School and our other schools, we're involved in a local stories project where our 3rd graders are interviewing a number of members of our community, learning their stories, learning about their histories. They've participated in some events at the Westbrook Historical Society. They've interviewed people who've been in our community a long time, people who've been in our community a short time, to really understand what the story of being a Westbrook citizen is. We look forward to the writing that comes out of that project, certainly the oral history, and the art that's coming out of that project as well. So thank you to Art Director Rachel Somerville for spearheading that project, and the teachers and students who are really engaged in that. I'm really happy to say that we are launching a media campaign in our schools to promote the good work that's going on in our schools every single day. Some of you may have been on the City of Westbrook's webpage recently and have seen some videos that the city has produced to broaden economic development and to enhance the business community in the city. We're looking to do a companion series of videos as well to celebrate the good work and to share the good stories of our schools here within the community, but also to partner with the city in marketing the city of Westbrook, not just as friendly for business, but also friendly for education, because business and schools certainly impact each other. So over the next couple of months, our partners at Channel 2, Barry Dodd, will be coming around filming different things and meeting with different people to celebrate and to create this first video, which would be a broad overview of great things that happen in our schools, and then to produce a series of videos that showcase particular programs, particular initiatives that really make Westbrook unique and really help our schools to shine. So please look forward to seeing that in the next coming months. We're really excited about that. And finally, I'd like to ask Chris Strout, who is our Jobs for Maine graduate teacher, to come to the podium. This year, the Jobs for Maine Grads program approached us and offered to create a program here at Westbrook High School. It's actually a program we had in the distant past, and we're very, very excited to have that back again. And Chris is a veteran JMG teacher and is creating a magnificent program. He was at our Ed Programs Committee meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we asked if he could come back to present to the school committee tonight.
Hey, thank you for letting me speak tonight. So I'm going to start with just a very quick overview of what JMG is, and then I'll get into what we've been doing this year so far. JMG is a statewide program at over 120 schools across the state that works with 9,000 students in the state of Maine, making us one of the biggest education providers in the state. We work with roughly 45 students to 65 students at each school, and we serve students sixth grade through college, which really gives us a good continuum of support when it comes to working with our students and helps them be successful. The goals are to kind of help students figure out what they're passionate about and what they're interested in, and then help them make a game plan on what they want to do for life after high school. The goal is that every student will go on to pursue a meaningful career and get some sort of post-secondary credential, being a bachelor's degree, associate degree, certification, but something that will help them be successful and more marketable in the field that they're passionate about. Typically, students in the program have what we call 4 to 6 barriers to education. These can include many factors, including low household income, family social issues, high absenteeism. Typically, the average the student will have 6 barriers. One of the cool parts of the program, as I mentioned, is the continuum of support. We have programs at 9 colleges in the state of Maine, and if a student goes on to one of those colleges and they were in JMG, they will not only have support from me for a year after they graduate, because I stay in touch with them for a year doing monthly contacts. They will also have the support of a specialist on campus who will meet with them once a week to make sure they are navigating those sometimes tricky waters of higher education, which is a really great benefit. So they'll have 2 people helping them make that transition from high school. So what have we been doing so far this year? So we have one program that we've been doing. We've teamed up with the Good Shepherd Food Bank and AmeriCorps to do Cooking Matters program, because part of our curriculum is financial literacy and helping students be successful and financially well off when they leave here. So they've been learning how to cook healthy meals and affordable meals, so that when they are out on their own, they are not wondering where all their money went because they look at their food budget and they've spent it all at restaurants. They actually know and will have the skills to cook the healthy foods that they want to eat. We have officers in JMG, and we've already had our elections, and they've already gone on an overnight leadership trip where they worked on team building skills, where they learned what it means to be a leader and got to interact with JMG officers from all over the state of Maine. They had to create a social entrepreneurship business plan that they presented to a panel of business experts at this conference. They came up with, they identified a need in our community as a lack of healthy recreational events for youth in our community. So they wanted to create a business that would provide those opportunities for students to engage in safe social activities and partner with local nonprofits. And they would share those, they would split the profits with the nonprofit and then take the rest of that money and invest it back in their company to cover the cost of expenses and help their company grow. They also wanted to have supports in place such as drug and alcohol counselors, police officers, social workers who would be at these events and not in a formal capacity but handing out food, participating in whatever activity was happening, so the community could get to know what supports are in place and feel comfortable accessing those supports. I thought it was an amazing plan and they did really well. We have had several guest speakers come in from several colleges, and we've also had some trade schools come in. We've had Universal Technical Institute come in. We had our resource officer, Jason St. John, come in and talk. We've had the Army, Marines, National Guard. We've had social workers come in and speak with the kids about what career in social work looks like. And we're going to be having our technology guru, Ben Brigham, come in and talk about podcasting and how that can lead to a career either online or lead into broadcasting. We're also going to be having a freelance sports broadcaster come in. We're having a recent Westbrook graduate who did a gap year. He's going to be speaking to the class to show students that you don't necessarily have to go right into college or right into the workforce, but there's ways to have a structured year in between that can further your educational goals and help you be in a good position either through scholarships you earn or exploring different careers that you're interested in before you commit to a major in a college. We have several upcoming trips because a lot of what JMG does is to experience things firsthand. So we are going to be going to the MEMA Technical Center, which is an HVAC school up in Brunswick, where students can earn certifications in as little as 6 weeks, or they can do their 3-month program where they will be certified to work on most heating furnaces or elements you would find inside a home, and ready to enter the field and making very good money. Students are also going to be going to the Ronald McDonald House to cook a meal using their new skills that they learned in Cooking Matters, because part of our program is giving back to our community. So they're going to cook a meal for the residents who are staying at the Ronald McDonald House. They are also going to be doing a business simulation challenge at IDEX, where they are going to be paired with a mentor from IDEX who will help them compete in a business simulation with teams from around the state. They will also get to tour IDEX and see what career opportunities that company has to offer. And they are also in March going to be going to a career development conference where they're going to showcase all these skills that they've worked on, such as resume writing, job interviewing, networking, leadership skills, public speaking, and they're going to compete with teams from JMG programs from all over the state, as well as have access to a college fair and career fair. Students we've researched a bunch of careers that match their interest. They had to research 3 that they were a little bit interested in and that matched their interest based on a career survey. Now they're going in depth and they're going to interview either someone who works in the field and ask them questions about what a career in that field looks like, or hopefully do a job shadow and work with Nicole Sturgis, the aspirations counselor, to get that up and running. All of this is done. They're recording all the information digitally, so even if I don't have them next year, they will still have access to this, because I think it's really important that if they're going to put in all this work, that they're going to be able to have this information. I also work with students on academic remediation. Once every 2 weeks, we sit down, they record their grades, we make a game plan on how they can improve in areas they need a little bit of work in. I teach them how to craft polite emails to their teachers. We also, during that time, especially with my seniors, we work on college applications, scholarships, make sure their financial aid is completely filled out. That stat that 58% of seniors have already been accepted. I have 4 seniors in my program, and every single one of them has already been accepted into school. So we work really hard on that, making sure they are not kind of putting it off, that we're taking care of things now so they're in a good position when May rolls around. They're also going to be doing Retail's Fundamental Credential. So it's through the Retail Federation's Rise Up curriculum. It's a 10-hour curriculum where the students learn all the basics of retail and what it takes to have a career in that field. At the end of it, they will take a test where they can get a credential they can put on their resume, and it'll open up the opportunity for job interviews at local retailers. They are also participating in a philanthropy project called Coins for Camp, where they're going to be helping to send Maine students grades 2 through 10 to camp for free. And we have several other things in the works, but we're not quite set up yet. But that's our that's our brief overview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this program is just in its 4th month, and see how all these amazing things that are already happening. So, Chris, thank you for bringing your gifts to Westbrook, and thank you to the JMG organization for helping our students and supporting our school with this terrific opportunity. And one last thing in my superintendent's report, I'd like to welcome a number of people who are here this evening at our meeting. It's the Parent Voice Committee of the One Westbrook Initiative. Thank you for coming to the meeting tonight and learning about the civic process, the electoral process, and the responsibility that we all have for leadership. And we also have some students here tonight, so it's nice to have a wide range of people visiting our meetings. Nice to have people here live in person and on television as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the chair committee reports, and next month we will be assigning the committee chairs with the new additions. And first up, not that I'm skipping you, Beth, but we're looking for committee updates. And Sue, Mike?
Nothing at this time.
Veronica?
Yes, we just held a finance committee, a preview last Wednesday, and then a official meeting tonight. And what we discussed was the EduSketch, which is a great app that enables us to take some of the previously unused 4th period white that a lot of kids would skip out on. I'm not naming names. But it makes it a little more constructive and more usable as time, whether it is a student, using it to get some remediation, or whether they're doing some sort of college prep, or just working on homework. But it's because of this app, they're able to utilize and construct a schedule that's more consistent. And it's based on the data that was presented. It's been a great success for both students and teachers. So, and tonight we'll be bringing forward. I know that in the first 2 years of its utilization, because it's come a long way from when it started, it's being funded by grants, and I know for the third year that it is coming out of the technology funding. But we will look forward to seeing that on next year's budget. Also, which you will see on the agenda this evening, is a request to hire a bus aide, not a van driver, a bus aide. The funds for that will be taken out of reimbursements from the state. We have a lot of out-of-district students, and we transport as far as Lewiston. And so we are asking for this position to help with that, and also to kind of help with some busing struggles that we've experienced across the state, and have been utilizing some incentives to kind of help us regain some bus drivers in the district. So that's for consideration tonight. We also discussed some stipends that are contractual, but that will be coming back. We're asking for a lot more information before we bring that forward. We had an update on the HVAC bid. We are going with Siemens. We have utilized Honeywell for years, but this time we have decided that Siemens will be our new HVAC contractor. We have, which you will also see in the agenda tonight, is an appraisal for the old tennis courts. Tennis courts were, there was a tennis court at Sacarapa. There was also one at Pride's Corner, both of which no longer exist. But in order to proceed with kind of like a land swap, because the tennis court had been funded with Parks and Rec funding from, and I apologize, I don't remember, it was like the 1950s or 60s when that tennis court was built. We had decided that we were going to remove that and replace it with soccer fields, baseball field, and some playground space, soft and hard. But in order to satisfy the requirements of that swap, we are teaming up with the city, and we need an appraisal for the property. And they have a unique, they're going to take a unique view since it no longer exists. But apparently they're very seasoned with this. So we are bringing forward the company that will be doing that. We did get 3 bids, and so we did go through the process. And then we had an update on the Cornelia Warren grant for the fitness center. I'm happy to say that we received the funding, as you said in your superintendent's report, and I believe we will look forward to a grand opening ribbon cutting in April when those members return. Several of the members of the Cornelia Warren Foundation are snowbirds, so they will be back in April. And that's it for tonight.
Hey, thank you, Veronica. Steve?
I have nothing at this time.
Thanks, Noreen.
Yes, we had an education program meeting back on November 28th. First, we had Kate Rotroff from the Dell Education Program shared us that the enrollment numbers have grown over 2017 years with a positive attendance, and the highest in numbers is in the ELL programs, levels 1 through 6. So that was good to know that that's growing. We heard from Chris Strout on the Jobs for Maine graduates. Thank you. For the Gateway to Opportunity at the high school, USM has reached out to the high school to support the kids in several communities to create summer partnerships between businesses, USM, and schools. IDEX has committed $15,000 to pay kids minimum wage to participate. 20 students, rising juniors and seniors, will spend 6 weeks in the summer working with the Animal Refuge, who would be the fiscal agent and hosting the kids. Will work with them during the summer. We also had Kate Hersham talk about the attendance in our school system and how the state has a chronic absentees is high statewide. Luckily, Westbrook is lower than the state, so that's good news. Then she's also going to, she reported out on the MEA results on that. Our team overall is lower than the state average, but we are going to be working on improving that over the next year or two. And that is all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next item is the old business. 15.1, to request to approve an overnight field trip for the chamber singers to travel to Boston, April 12th through April 13th, for a choral festival. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mike. Do I have a second? Second by Sue. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those in favor? 7 in favor, 0 opposed. I have to think about that. I'm used to being in that seat, so I see what she was doing over there. Next item. Next item, 15.2, request to approve the HVAC services bid. Do I have a motion? Motion by Noreen, second by Veronica. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor? All in favor, none opposed. This one, 16.11?
Russian trip, that's what this is.
Okay. Oh, okay.
15.3, sorry.
Okay, good, I was going to say, I thought my math was bad, but no. 15.3, request to approve the Russian Exchange Opportunity Field Trip for 2019. Motion? Motion by Veronica, second by Beth. Any discussion? All those in favor? And all in favor, none opposed. On to new business. 16.1, teacher's nomination. 16.11, special education teacher for the Westbrook High School. 16.12, math instructional coach for the Westbrook High School, Westbrook Middle School, and vocational. Is that correct?
16.3.
Okay. And 16.13, alternative education teacher for the Westbrook Middle School, Samuel Johnson. Do I have any discussion?
How about a motion?
Oh, motion. Sorry. Yeah. Motion by Mike, second by Veronica. Any discussion?
Is this in the aggregate?
Yes.
Yes.
All those in favor? All in favor? None opposed. So 16.2, request to approve an overnight field trip for the Westbrook Middle School Leadership Club to travel to New York City, April 15th through April 17th. Do I have a motion? Motion by Steve, second by Beth. Any discussion? Wow, we're good tonight.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
You included the insurance information. We
Yes.
always ask.
Yes, thank you. All those in favor? Right, any opposed? All in favor? 16.3, request to approve hiring a bus aide for 1 year only. Do we have a motion? Motion by Veronica, second by Steve. Any discussion? And Peter, is there a reason why it's only for 1 year, or?
It's for the remainder of the school year. It's based on the needs that are presented right now. And like Ms. Bates said, this is 100% reimbursable from the state.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, 7 in favor, none opposed. 16.4, request to approve the purchase of EduSketch software for Westbrook High School. Do I have a motion? Motion by Veronica, second by Beth. Any discussion? Sue?
Just a quick question. You said that it was grant funded before, and this year it's going to be in the technology budget, and we hope to have it in the budget for next year. What is the cost of it?
It's based on a student number. And
Okay.
so it's roughly this year, because our numbers are down a little bit for enrollment, it's about 37, 38, I think, 100.
Okay, great, thanks.
Anything else? All those in favor? Any opposed? 7 in favor, 0 opposed. 16.5, request to approve contractual stipends adjustment, and that's been taken off until the next meeting. 16.6, request to approve the innovation grants. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mike, second by Noreen. Any discussion? Veronica?
Yeah, it was my understanding that these had gone back for questions and to like go back to some of the teachers for more information, and I never saw that come back, so I'm kind of questioning how it got here without going back through committee.
I believe it is Jody. Were you involved with that?
Veronica, that was my understanding as well, that it would go back to the Finance Committee.
So do we need to be taking this off, or?
I would like it to be taken off.
I would agree, there's some more discussion.
So I would motion to table this until we get that information.
All right, do I have a motion to table? Veronica, second by Mike.
Can I make a comment or
Yes.
ask a question about it?
Please.
Which probably will come up in the discussion, but first of all, I just wanted to say I'm so happy to see that it's still a thing. That's great. And I think that it would be nice, instead of putting money back for the spring term, to maybe use that funds to fully fund, like the example we were given earlier. So I think that might be a good idea. There might be a reason why it wasn't talked about, but that'd be great if we could talk about that.
Are there any, Beth, did you have a question as well? Or?
I guess I would just like to know what the process was, and just kind of reading about it, so.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, oh, sorry, Jody.
I'd be happy to share the application process and the criteria for the grant. There's a committee of teachers, and Mike is on the committee as well. And so there's a process that we go through to review the grants. So I'll share that with the committee.
Thank you. Now, do we have a vote? All in favor for motion and putting this on the table? Second? No? All in favor?
I'll do whatever. I'd like to vote to table it.
Well, we kind of threw a table. We don't think we're supposed to talk, but that's okay.
No, that's okay.
Sure.
16.7, request to approve the appraisal of the former tennis courts. Do I have a motion? Motion by Veronica, second by Steve. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? No. 7 in favor, 0 opposed. 16.8, request to delete the current Westbrook School Department policy IJOA, field trips and enrichment trips, and replace it with a recommendation from main school management. Do I have a motion? Motion, Mike, second by Steve. Do we have any discussion? Jody, is this something you want to talk about, just because there's been a lot of work on this, the field trips and?
On the policy?
Yes.
Yeah, so we went through a process at looking at our field trip policy, looking at MSMA's recommendation and policies around the area, and we came up with some minor changes to the field trip policy and an approval form, but really, I think the biggest change was the process that a teacher has to go through in order to request a field trip, and in the timing of it, to make sure, for example, that the nurse is notified, transportation is notified, that we have checked with the safety policies of the venue that we're going to, and so on and so forth. So I'd say those are probably the biggest additions to the policy. And then the approval form. We worked a lot on that. That includes information about that the nurse needs, so health information, and it also includes information for the parents, so the permission slip, giving them more information about what the field trip is for, so, where they're going, how long they'll be there, the itinerary, the agenda, all of that. So I would say those are the biggest changes with it.
Thank you, Jody. Any more questions or any? All those in favor? Any opposed? All those in favor? 16.9 or 10, requested to delete the current Westbrook School Department policy IJOAE field trip permission form and replace with a recommendation from Maine School Management. Motion by Veronica, second by Sue. Any discussion?
Is it 16.9 or 16.10, Sue?
Well, we took one off, so I'm saying
Okay.
it's 16.9.
Got it, yep.
Because we deleted the 16.10, correct?
Okay. So there are 3 field trip policies you'll have to vote on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So any discussion? No? We're all good? All in favor? All right, all in favor. Last one, and I guess, is this 16.10? Sorry, we took one out. So I
Currently,
just
yeah,
wanna make
on
sure.
the agenda, 16.10, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And request to approve the changes to the Westbrook School Department, IJOAR, trip enrichment and competition trip administrative procedure. Do we have a motion, Veronica? Second by Sue. Any discussion? Oh, wow. Okay. All those in favor? All right, all in favor? None opposed? Okay.
And then we're adding the second
Adjournment.
school.
Oh, 16, so that would be 16:10? Remember, stop.
Next up.
All right. Request to adjust the school calendar for Sac Rapids School and dismiss students at 11:30 on December 20th and December 21st. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mike, second by Noreen.
Can I explain that?
Yes.
Hey, let me give you some context about that. As you know, our Sac Rapids School project is moving right along. The new addition is just about complete. It's pretty amazing. I can't wait until the community can come in and see what they've created in this beautiful addition at Sac Rapids School. The plan has always been for us to complete the construction in December of 2018 and to move into that wing for January of 2019 in order for the contractors to renovate the existing school. So far, we are on track to do that. We have inspections for a certificate of occupancy scheduled for early next week, and if all goes well, we'll be full speed ahead to move into that new building for January 2nd. We're realizing that new wing is drastically different than the current school in terms of everything, infrastructure, technology, the way we turn on the lights, the way that we have traffic flow in the building. It's really going to be necessary for our staff to have some time in the building without students to learn how to operate the building and how to practice for emergency drills, how to build new schedules, and to really learn how to have the first day of school in the middle of the school year. While I hate to adjust the school schedule and have kids out of school for any reason, I am requesting that we do allow Sac Rapids School to have half days next Thursday and Friday, which would be the Thursday and Friday before vacation, the 20th and 21st. Children will be dismissed at 11:30. And then our staff would be able to go have training for the remainder of those 2 days. Dr. Mazianis and I looked at a number of possibilities, other ways to accomplish this training that really has to do with safety as much as anything else. We felt that was the best option because we would still ensure that there would be learning both of those days, 2 mornings of learning, and our students would also be fed. And we know that a number of the children in our community do depend on our schools for their meals each day. So having them in school for those 3 hours is an advantage. If for some reason that certificate of occupancy is not granted, then we will not have to have those days because we won't be able to move into the school as scheduled. We're hoping that that's not the case. There's no indication that that will be the case. But after that final inspection on Monday, we'll know for definite if that's a go. If we have to do a Plan B, which means that the school would not be ready before the school vacation, I would ask that we allow Sakarapa School to have no school on January 2nd to provide this training. That's not our first choice because that takes kids out of school for an entire day. But again, our staff needs that time to be trained on how to use the new building. Just looking at some of the ways, literally, to turn on the lights is a whole new way of doing things. So we need to have the time to do that. So with your permission, with your approval, we would adjust that school calendar. The superintendent isn't allowed to adjust the school calendar except in snow days, and that's days we tack on at the end of the year. So if you would allow that, that would be just at Sakarapa School next Thursday and Friday, and Brian and I would start messaging that soon.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion? Veronica?
Is this any breach of contract at all for having 2 half-days rather than 2 whole days?
No, because our staff would be working those days. They would be training during those days.
Okay.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? All in favor? Thank you. Important dates. December 19th, 5 o'clock, Educational Programs Committee meeting. December 24th through the 31st, holiday vacation, no school. December 25th, Christmas. January 1st, New Year's Day, no school. January 2nd, 6 o'clock, Finance Committee meeting. January 9th, 6 o'clock p.m., School Committee meeting.
7 o'clock, sorry.
Oh, 7 o'clock, okay, oops. January 9th, January 16th, 5 o'clock, Educational Programs Committee meeting. January 21st, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, no school. January 28th, Policy Committee meeting. This is the last public participation. Did anybody have anything to say or speak, or? Oh, please.
My name is Dan Glover. I live at 90 Stroudwater Street, and I wanted to thank the committee tonight for supporting the principal's effort to send kids to Russia. And I would say, maybe some of you might find it hard to imagine me asking my father for something, but if I were asking my father for a couple $1,000s to go someplace, he probably would have thrown me out the door. And if he knew it was going to Russia, he probably would have thrown me harder. So I'm sure a lot of people may have this on their mind. The deadline for application is January 5th. So I would just encourage people to think about it, and that the Archangel Committee will help try to support financially those kids who are going. We don't have a lot of money to do it, but we will be helpful in that way. So, thanks again.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyone else like to speak? Please come on up. Can you come over here to the mic? I know, it's nerve-wracking.
Good afternoon.
نحن عندنا أطفال يعني عندي 6 أطفال.
We are mothers and we have some kids.
بسكرابة سكول وهاي سكول وميدل سكول.
We have in Sakarapa School, middle school, high school.
تجيني أوراق إنجليزي ما أفهم عليها، يعني نتمنى إنه ترجمة عربي إنجليزي.
Sometimes we have some papers in English and we can't understand it. So we hope there is some Arabic translating to these papers. Comes with the English papers, so we can understand what's going on with it.
يعني مشكلة شوي يعني.
So we have only this problem.
يعني أحيانا عندي ابني يبعثوا لي ورق إنجليزي مثلا عنده برنامج رياضة خلال 3 أيام مثلا أو يومين لازم نرد لهم الجواب إنه موافقين ولا لا. بس أنا أنتظر مترجم أو أنتظر صديق أو أنتظر حدا لحتى أفهم شنو بالورق يكون راح عليه.
Sometimes my son brings some papers, for example, from sports games or something, and we need to respond for these papers. And you gave us like 3 days to respond for these papers or these requests, but we don't understand it. So we really need something that translate these papers to Arabic, so we can respond on time to you.
بس نتمنى إن شاء الله يرجعونا الأوراق يعني.
We thank you very much for your help.
No, we thank you, and we clearly need to help assist you with that, so we can work with Peter, Dr. Lance here, to figure out how we can help you, assist you in reading.
احنا ايضا نشكركم وراح نحاول نعمل على هذا الموضوع ونساعدكم. Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, please.
As a student of Westbrook High School since I was in kindergarten, and Pride's Corner has been here, I have parents who came to the U.S. as immigrants, and I am a first generation. I'm proud to be. And this issue with forms not being translated is a barrier for parents, I know, because from my own experience and the school system. And it's been going on for a while, so I just like to stress on the importance of the translation that should happen. Thank you.
Thank you, and we definitely will work on that and find a way to aid and help them with that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Je suis Christine Manegape.
I am Christine Manegape.
Je suis mère de 9 enfants, vivant avec 4 parmi les 9.
I am mother to 9 children, and I live with 4 of them, of the 9.
Et de ces 4, 3, une a commencé à high school et 2 ont commencé à middle school.
And of the 4, 1 started high school and the other 1 started middle school.
Je me lève pour apprécier le travail que l'école fait à travers le personnel, les enseignants et les administratifs pour nous aider, les immigrants.
So I'd like to thank the jobs that the teachers are doing to help the job that they're doing with the children and to help us immigrants.
Parce que ni tété l'effort qu'ils font à mettre à la disposition de nos enfants des enseignants qui peuvent les aider malgré la barrière de la langue et améliorer leur anglais en laps de temps, c'est vraiment à admirer et nous disons grandement merci.
Because I really appreciate the efforts that they put in, given that our children come with the language barriers and the effort that these teachers are putting in, and to see our children change and start to speaking the language correctly, we really appreciate it.
Le deuxième aspect est de vous rassurer notre soutien, que nous parents, nous sommes derrière vous, à vous annoncer dans la mesure du possible et à temps voulu s'il y a un besoin qu'il y a par rapport à l'éducation de nos enfants.
And the other thing we would like to say that us parents, we are behind you, we support everything that you do, and we appreciate what you're doing for our children.
Donc nous sommes là et pour l'école et pour vous, tous ensemble pour faire ce que nous devons faire et ainsi notre pays pourra aller de l'avant.
And we're here with you, with the school, with the teachers, so that, we can all support you. And we are available to you to support the work that you're doing for our children.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Noreen? Oh.
Can I just ask a question on that, Peter, on the translation? On the Thursday folders that go out, is there a place that they can translate automatically on the Thursday folder information?
Not automatically.
No?
We are working on different protocols, different systems for people who would like translation to request that, and we'll connect them with a translator. In fact, we're working really hard. Regina Clement, our ESL coordinator, has been working with Jody Mezzanotte as well as Regina Phillips to establish more translators here in the Westbrook School Department, so that we're not only contracting with outside interpreters to support that, so that when people need a form translated, oftentimes it takes weeks to have a lengthy form translated for us. So we are developing protocols for people to call the school, request translation services, and then someone will call them to translate or interpret the form for them orally. But that's something that we're continuing to expand. The need continues to grow, and we do want to provide that kind of information to folks. When we're talking about the field trip policy, for example, that's also one of the revisions to our policy, that we can provide translation for all of our field trip forms, so that parents are comfortable with what their children are doing for field trips, as well as athletics, as well as just school information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to follow up, Noreen, I know there are a lot of programs and apps out there that claim to do, immediate translation.
Yeah.
The problem is that just a small inflection in the language can completely, for lack of a better word, really screw it up.
Okay.
And we don't want to do that when we are communicating with our parents and kids. So, yeah, I know people will throw out Google Translation, and it's been known to make some very important translation mistakes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, just really quickly, I just want to thank you guys for coming. I've been a part of One Westbrook for just a really short amount of time, but on the school committee for 10 years. I left for a little while and back on for another 30 seconds. And I'm just so happy that you guys are here. That was really amazing. Thank you for your support and for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you.
Anything else, or?
Say one
Oh,
last thing.
yes, absolutely.
One last thing, and I echo what Ms. Salisbury said. Thank you for coming. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We have a really remarkable community, and a friend offered me a quote this evening that is a quote that's coming from International Women's Day, which is a celebration across Eastern Europe. Is that correct, Dan? Or a celebration in quite a bit of the world. The theme for that is better the balance, better the world. And I think that's something that we strive for here in our community. I had a graduate professor who once said, we have to strive to be at the radical middle, where we're totally balanced. No one dares to be there. It's important for us to achieve that balance, because that's where equity does happen. So, thank you.
Sir, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Dennis Morat on Falmouth Street. Working with Dan on the Archangel Exchange. 1969, graduated Westbrook High School. Just two observations. One is my niece, Kelly Ruby, is a special ed teacher at Sacarapa. 2004 UMaine Farmington graduate in special ed. And I think that's going to be a tremendous feather in the city of Westbrook, the students, and especially the faculty at Sacarapa, to have this fantastic brand-new building. And Mr. Lancher is right. It's going to take a while for them to get used to this incredibly new facility, but I think it's fantastic. It's long overdue, and it's here now. Also, not everybody may realize, but especially our immigrant families, May of 2017, after the DOT and the Bicyclist Coalition of Maine selected Westbrook to be the first host of 21 communities in Maine for a forum which was held at the middle school cafeteria on safety for pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers because of the increasing amount of injuries and fatalities in pedestrians and bicyclists around the state. There was a small organization called Westbrook Safe Mobility and Access Committee. We have a new website now, www.westbrookSafeMobility.org. We meet on the third Wednesday of every month at 5:30 at the Westbrook Warren Congregational Church. We're done for this year, but come into January. And we're focused on improving crosswalks, improving mobility for handicapped, wheelchair people, senior citizens, visually and hearing impaired, and working with the city. And I think it would be great if we could have a little bit of input from the immigrant student population, a representative from the middle school or the high school, or from a family. Would be welcome to attend our meetings on the third Wednesday of each month, just to get to know what we're doing, and we'll welcome suggestions, and also translation is extremely important. I just thought an opportunity here to get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just wanted to thank the Westbrook Band, Kyle Smith and Sue Prue. The Westbrook Chamber sponsors a tree lighting every year, and everyone comes together, Public Works, and we have somebody up here. Do we have any kids? No. We have a Santa Claus that comes to town with a fire truck, and everyone just is such a big help, and people are always donating their time. But Kyle Smith, his band has been coming down forever and ever, and I really appreciate it because he had a conflict this year and he still made it happen. Hopefully he didn't get a ticket on his way to his family event that he was supposed to be at. But no, the band just gets bigger and bigger, and they're just amazing. Everyone knows they're amazing anyways, but they do such a great job. And Sue Prue came down. Unfortunately, we didn't have Junie, but Junie we always love having, and you'll be back next year, and hopefully Sue Prue. But we want to thank them. It's a wonderful community event, and they did a great job, and they're always very, very helpful. I want to thank the Parent Voice Committee out tonight, and this is amazing. This is so exciting. It's exciting that all of you are here, but this is wonderful. So we appreciate you coming tonight. I want to, my heart goes out in prayers to the Stephanie Dobbins family. I didn't know her, and it's unfortunate. You always hear about great things about people that pass, and it's so hard and so tragic when we lose someone like that in our community. But what is amazing is how everyone comes together. And I think I couldn't believe the feedback I heard from the administrations and the teachers and the staff, and Vicki Hebert, you were one that was in charge there, and it was just amazing that how this community does come together. It's very sad. She will be missed, but it's just, again, to see the people that just are there for each other and get through at a hard time. So, I want to say that. Also, thank you for your patience. We had an adjustments that were add and delete in, so hopefully next time I'll be better prepared. And I do want to wish everybody a wonderful and happy holiday, and we'll see you in January. Well, some of you will see probably tomorrow. Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah, you can't get rid of us that quick. But I want to wish everybody a nice, happy holiday. Thank you. And the last item is 20, we have an adjournment. Request to recess into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405 to discuss contract negotiations and adjourn directly from that meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion from Noreen, second by Steve. All those in favor? All those in favor? None opposed. Thank you very much.